here we have it. We've got a wee alcohol activated palette. As you can see, and you'll feel them, they are very, very hard. You will not get any product off this unless you spray it with alcohol. So I've decanted my alcohol into a little bottle just for easiness, and I'm also kind of hacking up my sponges as we did before. So I'm going to start off with doing the initial impact, which is obviously your blue and red kind of tones of the bruise. Using my sponge, I'm just going to start dabbing a little bit of the product into the skin. Now, alcohol activated products are great because the more alcohol you use, the less product is actually there. So it lies on the skin, so you get a nice kind of watery texture to that. Using a little bit less alcohol, I've just dabbed the sponge back into the palette, and I'm now just pressing that back into the skin, and as you can see, I'm getting a stronger payoff. Again, just working it into the skin. These dry quite quickly. The trick is to kind of let them dry before you add on an extra layer. Otherwise you run the risk of just removing what you've already applied. So I'm using still with the kind of browny reddy tones, and I'm just working it into the middle now just to try and show where the impact would be. I'm building it up. I'm going in with a slightly bluer purpley tone now and just dabbing that into the middle. The bruises aren't meant to be pretty, so don't get yourself all worried about that. Now, depending on how severe you want to make the bruise, I'm now adding a little bit of blue, which will obviously darken it down. So this will be maybe like the day after impact, so you're getting that kind of strong, broken capillary. So moving on to your stage 2, which is maybe about days 3 to 7. So going in with my kind of yellowy tones here and just buffing that into the skin like we've done before. Nice light layer. Spray quite a lot of alcohol onto the dish and then just sponge it into the skin. Using a fresh sponge every time just so you're not blending the colours together. So I'm going to go in with a little bit more alcohol. So I'm now adding the kind of browny, yellowy, mustardy tone into the skin. Not taking it as far out as I did the yellow, but again just blending it into the original colour that was there. Slightly less alcohol so I get a stronger colour payoff. And then I'm going to go in with your kind of bruise tone, which is like a nice browny purple. Again, working it into the middle of the bruise and just keep dabbing it. A little bit more product, just keep working it up and working it up. If you ever feel you've got too much product on, just give the bruise a scoosh of alcohol or your sponge a scoosh of alcohol and it'll remove a little bit of product. It's really just a case of playing about with it till you're happy. I like to take away any excess off the edges, just giving the cloth a little scoosh of alcohol and just buffing away any harsh lines that might be there to give a more realistic look. Now, if you want to be pedantic, you can go in with a little bit of the bruise tone on a brush and just place it in exactly where you want it to go. So again, that gives you a little bit more control of where you're applying the product. So if you're going for quite a serious, intense bruise, then you can add your product in that way as well. So once it dries, you get that kind of stipple point. It will not budge. It is waterproof and sweat-proof, so it's great for like on set and in movies. Again, you can see as much detail as is there. A little bit of product on the sponge. We'll just take away any excess. It's quite a good tip, that actually. Just makes it a wee bit more realistic. And if you want to get rid of it, scoosh it in alcohol and give it a wipe and it's all gone. So for your final stage, again, this is your body just getting back to normal, I suppose, isn't it? So using more of your kind of yellowy browny tones here, just going in the same way we did before with the alcohol and building it up. So you want your kind of colours to be quite light here, nothing too strong. More of a wash of colour rather than anything with an impact mark. Slightly darker tone. again, buffing it into the skin. I'm using a little bit of your browns. A lot of alcohol has been used here, so I get a nice kind of watery texture. Tiny bit of bruise tone. And again, just going back in with my alcohol just to kind of squish all that together, I suppose. A little bit more of the bruise tone and just building it up until I'm quite happy. So around the edges here you can see it's a bit fake looking, so I'm just going back in with my sponge with a little bit of alcohol and dusting around the edges, almost bleeding it into my skin to give more of a natural look. And there we have it. So again, this will not budge. It'll stay on the skin until you remove it with alcohol or give it a really good scrub with oil.